Welcome back to Let's Play Sin and Punishment Star Successor. Today's stage is the Sandblasted Highway. It's a very short stage, but things move really quickly, so don't let the length fool you. Things are only going to get nastier from here until the end.
It's infested with enemies, but it's the only road to Mount Fuji. He couldn't have teleported us somewhere a little cooler?
Don't be such a baby. This guy looks pretty comfortable.
Hey, where's my alien donkey?
We've lost contact with Omega Team. Omega Team, please respond.
Okay then. I guess that's my ride.
All this trouble for two kids, I tell ya. Huh? There he is!
I'll be honest, I feel a little bad for that guy. Don't even think he'd make it as a stormtrooper, which is really sad. Anyways, this is the motorcycle level of the game. I like to think it's been inspired by Super Hang-On, which is very popular in Japan. Movement on the speeder bike or on the alien donkey, and yes, you do get the alien donkey if you're playing as Kachi. Movement is a little different from anything else in the game. It's similar to running along the ground, that you have access to the jump, but you don't ever have free range of movement. You can't get off the bike. You can jump and then do a double jump by chaining together the regular jump and the dodge, but you're only invincible for half, so not super useful. I'm taking out all these gas canisters on the sides as we go along, not just because they blow up and destroy everything else around you, but also if you can take out all of them, there are 2 medals associated with it. And there was also one for taking out the 2 yellow trucks. You might have missed the first one at the very start of the stage. It was like the first thing that died, and destroying the second one gave me the medal. And quicker than you can say oh my, you've got this saber-toothed tiger keeper. Well, he's a saber-hook keeper because he's got the hook tail. Hooktail, very annoying, but this is overall a pretty easy boss. Charge shots will knock him down temporarily, so you can hit him out of one of his attack animations with it, and that's pretty useful. You can also hit him out of his attack animations when he comes in to swipe you by using your melee attack. One thing to note about the speeder bikes is that you don't want to run into the side of the road like I did right there. You will get stuck on the railings temporarily, which gives the enemies a chance to hit you. One thing I'm really bad at is remembering to jump in this particular stage. See, you can say I got it there that time, but I always forget the first time I see the attack that it can be dodged in that way. Because the stage is so different from all the rest of them, it's easy to get really screwed up on this one. And for that I'm very thankful that it's shorter than usual. Unlike most bosses, the Saberhook Keeper does not explode into a billion coins when you defeat him. I wonder if that could possibly mean something down the line. Moving on, even more missiles are being fired at you. There are numerous projectiles that can be swatted back at your enemies. Those grenades that somehow perfectly bounce along with you, it's pretty impressive actually, can be hit back at the enemies, as can rocket launchers from the jet bike dudes. I really want to know how they get those grenades to just bounce right next to you, though. That is either impressive technology or impressive skill. Now watch out for the planes. You can see that one bomber just kind of flying there. He does not mean much of anything right now, but he'll have a bunch of friends later that are quite annoying to deal with. Still blowing up gas canisters, and one of the great things is that often a bunch of trash mobs just kind of circulate around those gas canisters, so you get a lot of hits when you take them out. I've read that there's supposed to be a medal you get as you go down the spine of this random giant dino beast, but I'm uncertain how to get it, as was the list I looked up. I like this part, actually. Once you get into a rhythm with the dodging, there's basically no way you're going to get hit. It's kind of a left, right, left, pause, left, right, left. It's easy to zone out while you're playing this level since everything's going so fast and your brain has trouble processing all of the information. But if you can remember the rhythm, even if you aren't able to keep up with your eyes, your hands might still be able to pull you through. Kind of a hand-eye uncoordination. The opposite of what you usually get from video games. 500 kills gets us a medal. This is the Vulture Keeper. I think this boss is actually a lot easier than the Saberhook Keeper. It only really has one particularly nasty attack, and it's that. The Lightning Bolt. It's a little difficult to predict exactly where the lightning is going to land, whether it's going to be exactly on top of you or right next to you, and how large the actual hit radius of it is. So you're probably going to get hit by it once, but once you get hit by it once, you will easily figure out where it will land and be able to dodge it the next time. Much like the Saberhook Keeper, you can actually knock this guy down. You do it when he is charging towards you, like that. Except, you actually have to hit the melee button. There we go. That is, short of a charge shot, the most damaging thing you can do to it. So, if you want to defeat the boss quickly, just hope he does this a lot. You can get a good 150, 200 each time he comes down, because knocking him down also appears to deal damage, not just the sword swings. And that does it. Pretty good bonus there. And much like the Saberhook Keeper, the Vulture does not explode into a bunch of coins. Sure hope that doesn't come back to bite us. Remember the bomber from before? Well, now it's back, and it's got a lot of friends. I think a more apt name of these would be Starscreams, because much like Starscream the Transformer, they are robots in disguise. Failing to hit them with one of the reflected missiles turns them into these kind of rollerblading robots that come up to you and electrify their legs. To defeat them, you can either use a charge shot on them, hit them with a missile, or wait till they get close to you and then slash them from in between their legs. Essentially, ball tapping them with a sword. Extremely painful. Explode on contact. Now that the bombers are cleared out, we've just about reached the end of the highway, but not the end of the stage. There's still some hot desert action to go, including cactus monsters. That medal I just got was for destroying the last of the cylinders, by the way. You're also supposed to get one for destroying all of these cactus monsters, but for some reason I didn't get it this time. Maybe I have to slash them all, instead of using any charge shots. Entirely possible. And just when your bad day couldn't get worse, here is an entire fleet of actual B-52 bombers. Or at least reasonable facsimiles thereof. You're not going to get the actual thing. They will sit there and just bombard you with bombs the entire time, but you can take out a lot of them for a lot of kills. And, of course, no desert's complete without landmines. And tornadoes. Don't want to get hit by any of that.
At this speed, we'll reach Mount Fuji in no time.
Suddenly, boss fight. And it is one of the most anime of bosses, a fusion monster. The Griffin Keeper emits most of his attacks from those giant shoulder pads that would put the Various suit to shame. You can disable attacks like the Spotlight here. He's got a Sonic Blast, there we go. And he also has some regular sprays of bullets, and all of those come from both of his mouth and the two emitters on his shoulders. The Spotlight attack only comes from the emitters. Destroying one of the emitters takes off a chunk of damage and also weakens his attacks. If you destroy both, you'll lose access to some attacks entirely. That said, you don't want to do that because the attacks that he does with his shoulders are a lot easier to dodge than the rest of them. As you can see, I have a hell of a time dodging all those slashes, and I am only barely getting out of the way of the hook, which is massively damaging. You don't want to get hit by that. So I'm going to leave that other shoulder be. The other thing that happens if you take it out is that his attacks start coming faster, and he begins to disguise his tells for them by blowing fire directly in front of himself, and then immediately following up with an attack without giving you a chance to see what it might be. He does it a little bit if he still has the shoulder pad, but in that case, because of the shoulder pad, it's a lot easier to tell what he's going to do. This is a much more difficult boss than it looks here, even though I did take a whole lot of damage in the process. Normally, you die a couple times. And that'll do it for Stage 6. Fast and Furious.
You want some more of this, kitty cat?
Oh, wait, you said... I could be wrong, but I think he's taken a liking to us. Must be the first time he's met someone stronger than himself.
Ha. Oh yeah? Well, you pack quite a punch yourself, big guy.
Issa! Our friend says he'll take us to Mount Fuji.
Next time, welcome to hell.